bloated like a balloon. Jenny was cute and cuddly. She always dreamt of having a good figure, but didn't know how. Jenny was loved by her parents, friends, and family. They would often ask her to start exercising to lose weight. But Jenny just wouldn't listen. She insisted on skipping lunch or breakfast, but wasn't ready to start an exercise routine. Anyways, it was a Jenny's sister Joy's birthday. Unlike Jenny, she was a well-toned girl with an admirable figure. Everybody was busy decorating the house for a party. Suddenly, one of Jenny's cousins came to her with a full-blown balloon. He pricked the balloon in Jenny's face and said, "I think you should prick your belly with a huge pin. A hole in your belly will let out all the air inside you." Jenny took the remark literally and said, "Thanks for the suggestion, bro. We'll definitely try it tonight." That night, while Jenny was alone in her bedroom, she took a big pin and was about to prick her tummy when Joy entered and stopped her. "What are you trying to do? You will kill yourself." "Ah," said Jenny, "I was trying to let out the extra air in my belly." "You stupid girl," scolded Joy. "Pricking your belly will only hurt you. It's not air that's inside you. It's fat that needs exercise to leave your body." Saying this, she slightly pricked Jenny's belly with the pin and she jumped with horror. "I want to look like you," said Jenny with a sad face. "Everyone makes fun of me." "Then start exercising," stressed Joy. "I stopped eating food," said Jenny, "but couldn't continue with it for long." "That's because dieting is no solution for weight loss." "But why?" asked Jenny. "Look, our body needs energy to work. This energy is given to us by food. But when we eat excessive food and don't exert our bodies, it starts getting deposited inside our body as fat. When we start a diet, our body doesn't get the required amount of energy we need to work daily. That is why it is important to eat healthy and exercise daily." "I tried exercising last summer, but my body ached like anything." "It might be because you might have exercised all of a sudden for a long period of time. So, what should I do?" "Start with light exercises and then move on to a harder set. The same goes for time. Start with exercising at least 10 minutes a day. Later, you can increase the time period. But I often get bored with exercising alone, said Jenny shyly. No worries, comforted Joy. Get up early in the morning and join me or any of your friends while exercising. You can even play any nice, energetic number to lift your spirits. Whatever Joy said sounded exciting to Jenny. Next morning, she woke up early and joined her sister. As each day passed by, she started enjoying the routine. What's more, she even started feeling fresher and lighter with every passing day. Nearly a month of exercising daily in the morning filled Jenny with new energy and stamina. Her friends and family started appreciating her for her determination. She even started getting compliments for losing weight. Whenever someone asked her how she managed to look so energetic, fresh, and happy, she simply say, "I eat gaily and exercise daily." Max loved eating sweets, chocolates, burgers, chips, and everything that his mom called junk. He even fed them to his beloved dog, Ruff. Max ate junk food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. His mom always said to him, "Max, it is fine to eat burgers or sweets once in a while, but you should also eat healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, cereal, breads, chicken, fish, etc." Max would smile and say, "No way, Mom, I will eat only what I want to eat and nothing else." So, one day, his mom said that she won't be feeding Ruff anymore. She asked Max to take care of it and feed it with whatever he felt was right. Max smiled and took Ruff to his bedroom. That night, the two of them had lots of sweets and chocolates. This happened for a couple of days. Every day, Max would take Ruff outside and feed it with all sorts of street food. Soon, Max realized that Ruff wasn't enjoying it anymore. One morning, when Max got up, he saw Ruff lying on the floor. He was sick and didn't have the energy to get up. Quickly, Max decided to take him to a doctor. When he tried to get dressed, all the buttons on his shirt went pop, pop, pop. "Oh no, my shirt has shrunk!" cried Max. And as Max put on a pair of his pants, rip, rip, rip went the pants. Max ran to his cupboard and tried on all of his clothes. Pop, pop, pop went all the buttons on all of his shirts. Rip, rip, rip went all of his pants. Max cried, "Oh no! All of my clothes have shrunk! What will I do now?" Mom heard Max crying and went to his bedroom. She was about to say something, but suddenly started screaming. Both Max and Ruff started expanding and growing. Max grew fatter and fatter, while Ruff expanded widely. Soon, Max started feeling suffocated. It seemed that the room wasn't big enough for him, and he felt hungry as well. His mom quickly got out of the room, as there was just no space for her. Max tried to get out of the room, but he just couldn't get through the door. Max had to break the door to get out of that small room. Quickly, he got to the kitchen and looked for something to eat. He saw a burger and gulped it down in a single bite. Alas! He expanded more and felt hungrier. "Here, take this," said Mom, and asked him to try a glass of milk. The moment Max had it, he shrunk a bit. Next, his mother made him a bowl of vegetable salad. Max had some of it, and his body started shaking wildly with sweets, burgers, and pizzas popping out of his mouth. Suddenly, he realized that his mother was shaking him. It was morning, and Mom was once again scolding him for eating sweets throughout the night. Max hugged his mom and said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I promise I won't have any junk food from now on." Mom was surprised to see this change in Max. On the other hand, Max thanked God that whatever he saw was just a dream and he was saved. Ron was a sweet little boy. Still, nobody wanted to stand near him. Ron was loved by everyone in the family. However, his friends always kept distance from him. One day, his best friend asked him to cover his mouth before speaking. It hurt Ron a lot. When he reached home, he told his mom what his best friend had asked him to do. "It is because your mouth stinks," said Mother. "I have always asked you to brush at least twice a day, but you never listen." "Ah!" said Ron angrily. "Don't nag me again. It is something else that is bothering my friend. You don't know a thing about it." The next day, it was Grandma's birthday. Ron gave her a nice card, and Grandma gave him a box of sweets and chocolates on the condition that he would brush his teeth after eating them. Ron agreed to get the box but never thought of fulfilling the condition. When his mother reminded him of his promise, he simply said, "I will brush in the morning." Every morning, Ron would only gargle his mouth with a few drops of mouthwash with really brushing his teeth. He thought it was enough to keep his teeth clean. However, that morning, when Ron woke up, he felt a sharp pain in his gums. He had slept while eating the sweets given by his grandmother. Ron quickly rushed to the bathroom and gargled his mouth. However, the pain was still there. Then, for the first time in months, he brushed his teeth. Nonetheless, the pain grew so bad that he started crying. Soon, his mother called him to have breakfast. Ron went to the table but didn't eat anything. His mother had cooked his favorite dishes, but he simply said that he wasn't hungry. Suddenly, his sister shouted, "Ron, why is your cheek swollen?" His mother quickly turned and saw Ron. Immediately, she took crying Ron to a dentist. The dentist examined Ron's teeth and said, "Boy, you have lots of cavities and your mouth really stinks." Ron couldn't say a word as he had realized his mistake. "Son," said the doctor, "it is very important to brush all your teeth properly at least twice a day. Spend at least 2 to 3 minutes brushing." The doctor also advised him to cut down on his sweets and floss his teeth regularly. To keep his breath clean, the doctor asked him to brush his tongue as well while he brushing his teeth. Ron promised to follow the doctor's instructions and never had a toothache again. Ricky was a very well-behaved boy. He was everybody's favorite as he was polite and was always ready to help others. Though he was loved by everyone, there was one person who was very jealous of Ricky. This was rude Thomas. Thomas hated Ricky because nobody played with Thomas and nobody liked him. Thomas was basically a bad boy who had bad habits. One day, Thomas called Ricky to play after school. Ricky, being a kind boy, readily went with Thomas to play with him. There, Thomas offered Ricky cigarette. "Come on, Ricky, try this. This will make you a man," insisted Thomas. Ricky knew that smoking cigarette is wrong. Still, he could not say no to Thomas and ended up smoking one. When he reached home, Ricky's mother came to know that he had smoked. "Ricky, you have been smoking?" cried his mother. Ricky was so paralyzed by fear that he lied. "No, mother, I did not smoke." Ricky's lie upset his mother so much. This hurt Ricky and made him sad. Ricky's father noticed that at dinner time, Ricky and his mother both were not their usual cheery selves. After dinner, Dad went to Ricky's room to talk to him. "What's wrong, Ricky?" asked Dad. Ricky broke down crying and said, "Dad, Thomas offered me cigarette today and I could not say no. I ended up smoking one and that's why Mother is not talking to me. Said Dad. Well, this is a serious matter, Ricky. Do you know that smoking cigarettes is bad? It harms your body as well as your brains. Yes, I do, Dad, but I just could not say no, replied Ricky. I'm sorry then, my boy. You have to learn to stand up for yourself and say no. You have every right to say no to things that are bad for you, said his dad and went out. The next day, Thomas called Ricky again to play. Ricky went with Thomas to play, but when Thomas offered cigarette to Ricky, Ricky firmly said, "No, Thomas, it is bad for our health. I will not take it, and I would suggest that even you stop taking it." Thomas tried his level best to convince Ricky, but every time Ricky said a firm no. That day, when Ricky reached home, he told his parents, "I have learned to say no." Dad smiled, but when Mom asked him what he meant, Ricky told her the whole story. "I am so proud of you, Ricky," said Mother, and hugged Ricky tightly. Ricky had never felt this proud in his life. Grace is a happy and active girl who likes to get up early in the morning. However, it wasn't like this before. Grace was a lovely little girl. Everyone in the family liked her for her sense of humor and cool attitude. Nonetheless, the only fault with her was that she was too lazy to get up early in the morning. Her mother had to struggle really hard to get her ready for school. And during the weekend, she wasn't seen out of bed till late in the afternoon. Being a late riser, Grace was in the habit of doing this lazily. She was habitual to sleep late at night. She loved watching movies and listening to music till midnight. Since she slept late, she faced problem in getting up early. It was almost every other day that she would miss her school bus and was late for school. Since she missed school several times, she was often punished by her class teacher. Further, when in the class, she looked tired all the time. None of the teachers liked her because of her laziness. While her friends were out playing, she preferred sitting lazily in the class with her head on the desk. Her lack of sleep reflected in her grades as well, as they started dropping. Gradually, even her family started disliking her and was fed up by her. Some of her cousins had started taunting her that she was a big loser. As time passed, the comments and taunts started irritating Grace. One day, she was in the park, feeling upset for being looked down by so many people. An old woman who was taking her evening walk saw lonely and upset Grace. The woman sat beside Grace and introduced herself. "Why are you so sad, girl?" asked the old woman. Hearing this, Grace started crying and told everything her. Grace admitted that she wanted to be nice and energetic like other girls, but it just wasn't in her control. "Hold on, child," comforted the old woman. "It is all under your control." "But how?" asked Grace. "Now listen to me carefully. The first thing you need to do is develop willpower," said the old woman. Grace listened carefully as the old woman continued. "You need to remind yourself that you have to get up early every morning, whether it is a weekend or a weekday. And for this, you need to go to bed early. There is plenty of time during the day to enjoy music or watch movies, but sleeping early is more important. Set an alarm clock to wake you up early. If that doesn't help, ask your mother to pull you out of the bed. Once awake, wash your face and start your day with something fun and energetic, like going for a morning jog." Grace understood what the old lady was trying to say. She thanked the old lady and went home. That night was the first night when Grace slept early, and the next morning she felt amazing and refreshing. For Grace, there was just no looking back after that. Further, her friends and family started admiring her for her willpower. Lila and Anna were cousins. They lived in the same house and went to the same school. Lila was a very popular girl. She was beautiful, chirpy, and fun to be around. On the other hand, Anna was a quiet fellow. She was always conscious about how other girls and boys saw her. She disliked the fact that her skin wasn't very healthy and she had zits all over her face. As time passed by, Anna started developing low self-esteem. Every time there was a get-together at her place, everyone would praise Lila for her beautiful skin, while Anna was looked upon as an ugly duckling. As time passed by, Anna started getting depressed and frustrated. She was being constantly compared with her cousin. She often wondered what was Lila's secret that made her skin look so beautiful. One day, she saw Lila buy a skin cream from the chemist. Immediately after she left, she went to the chemist and bought the same cream. Happy to find Lila's secret, she went home and rubbed the cream on her face several times. With a thick greasy layer of the cream on her face, she went to bed. That night, she dreamt of waking up with flawless skin that would attract everyone's attention. Next morning, when she woke up, she went straight to her mom. "What happened to your face?" yelled Mom. "Isn't it beautiful now?" giggled Anna. "Oh God!" cried Mom. "Go wash your face now, and don't worry, it will go away." Anna couldn't understand why Mom asked her to wash her face. She didn't want the charm the cream had left on face to vanish anyway. Nonetheless, she went to the bathroom to wash her face. "Oh my God! What have I done?" she cried the moment she saw the mirror. Her face was all red and full of ugly zits due to the cream. Seeing her face, she sat on the bathroom floor and started crying. "What happened?" asked Lila when she entered the bathroom. "Why are you crying?" Anna told her that she used the same cream that Lila bought from the chemist, but it spoiled her face. "You did that to me on purpose, I know," Anna blamed Lila. "You don't want me to look beautiful. That is why you misled me into buying that cream." "Relax," said Lila patiently. "It is nothing like the way you think. All you need to do is take care of your skin. If you wanted flawless skin, you should have talked with me or your mom. Following others blindly doesn't help." "But what should I do now?" asked Anna. "Don't worry," comforted Lila. "It will go away. You just have to follow few things. Look, skin is the most important and sensitive part of our body. It becomes ugly when we don't take proper care of it. Always remember to wash your face at least thrice daily. In the morning, after you wake up, after coming back from school, and before you go to bed at night. Consult a doctor or a professional and use the right cleanser for your skin type. Girls at our age don't do makeup, but still, if you wore a little makeup, make sure that you remove it before going to bed. And what about the creams they advertise on the television? Asked Anna. Are those? Remarked Lila. You should moisturize your skin, but don't overdo it. Again, choose a moisturizer according to your skin type. I have dry skin, while you have oily. The moisturizers we use will be obviously different. Remember, when you go out in the sun, apply sunscreen all over your body. Also, take care of your diet. It is very important. Drink lots of water and eat fresh fruits and vegetables. They are very good for the skin. And for these zits, don't pick them or else they will leave scars. It seems like taking care of skin is a big task, remarked Anna. It is, said Laila. But once you develop a routine, it becomes easy. And it is also worth the effort. Anna followed Laila's instructions. Within a fortnight, she started seeing her skin improving. She realized that all this while it was in her hands to make her skin look good. Nonetheless, it didn't take long for that ugly duckling to change into a beautiful swan. Ayan was a lovely boy. He liked making friends. However, often he would ignore his desires to make others happy. Ayan was always torn between things he wanted to do and things people around him expected to do. For example, once Ayan went shopping with his mother. He wanted to buy shorts, but his mother liked him in trousers better. So, Ayan went for the trousers. On another occasion, Ayan went camping with his cousin. His cousin wanted to play cricket, but Ayan wanted to click pictures. To please him, he had to put aside his camera and spend the day playing cricket with him. Doing what others wanted him to do had become Ayan's habit. Gradually, he started losing interest in everything. One day, his grandpa brought Ayan a multicolored sweater that his grandma had woven especially for him. It had several colors and Ayan really liked it. After dinner, while everyone was together in the living room, Grandpa showed the sweater to everyone and asked everyone to point out a flaw in it. Everyone had a different opinion about it. Mom said, "I didn't like the red color in it." Dad said, "It would have been better if brown wasn't in it." Cousin Sarha remarked, "Ah, I hate the triangles in it." Finally, Ayan's brother said, "The yellow pattern looks awful." "Great," said Grandpa. "So now we can improve the sweater according to everyone's choice." Grandpa asked Ayan to bring a scissors and everyone sat down to watch attentively what he was about to do. Grandpa cut a small knot in the sweater and started his job. "Mom doesn't like the red color," said Grandpa, and pulled out all the red strings in the sweater. Next, he pulled out all the brown strings in the sweater, as Dad didn't like the color brown. Mom tried to stop Grandpa, but he insisted to let him do what he was doing. Then he took the scissors and cut down all the triangles in the sweater, as Sarah didn't like them. Finally, he cut the yellow pattern in the sweater to please Ayan's brother. All that was left was torn, loose bundle of threads that made no sense. Grandpa took this bundle and gave it to Ayan. "There you are, my son," he said with a smile. "How do you like it now?" Everyone was amazed to see this. Ayan looked at Grandpa and said, "But this is not a sweater anymore. It is useless." "Yes, my boy," replied Grandpa. But this is what you are. All the colors and patterns that were there kept the sweater intact. This is how your special self is. Whenever you repeatedly sacrifice your wishes and desires for others to make them happy, you pull out a special thread or cut a special pattern. If you keep ignoring yourself, you will be like this bundle of unrelated threads that make no sense. But people expect things from me, said Aeon. There will always be people who will expect a lot of things from you, said Grandpa. But it is up to you to set priorities for your needs. If you won't pay attention to your needs, nobody will. Aeon understood the lesson behind Grandpa's sweater. He gathered what was left on the sweater and placed it in his cupboard. He promised to himself that from that day on, he won't let anyone decide for himself. That was the only way to take care of his special self. Eric was a sweet little boy. Everybody admired his chubby cheeks and fair complexion. Eric was too proud of his fair complexion. To be honest, at times he would even skip a bath. And when Mommy questioned him, he would simply say, "I am so fair and good-looking that no one would believe you that I hadn't taken a shower." Poor Mommy could only yell at him to go back and take a shower. And when Eric did take a shower, he would simply throw water all over his body. It was hardly ever that he cleaned himself well. One day, while Eric was forced to take a bath, he heard someone yell, "You better clean me well today, or I will make your life hell." Eric looked around, but he was alone in the bathroom. So he carried on. As usual, he quickly brushed his teeth, sprinkled a mug full of water over himself, and was about to reach out for the towel when he heard the voice again. "You forgot to clean me," someone said. "Wait, you have to clean me as well," a second voice demanded. Eric looked around, but there was just no one else in the bathroom. Suddenly, his eyes fell on the bathroom mirror. His eyes and ears had developed funny faces, and they were looking at him angrily. "Clean us now," his eyes and ears shouted angrily, "or else you will regret it." "Oh yeah?" scorned Eric. "I won't clean you. You can do whatever you want." Eric came out of the bathroom, got dressed, and rushed towards the living room. It was Sunday, so everyone was at home. Eric sat on the dining table and asked Mom to give him breakfast. While Mom was in the kitchen, Eric asked Dad whether they could go for a movie later that day. Dad answered with a smile and then went to the other room. Eric couldn't understand what Dad had said, but assumed that he had agreed. He waited and waited for the breakfast, but it never came to the table. After about 10 minutes, Eric rushed into the kitchen angrily and asked Mom about the breakfast. Mom kept saying something, but Eric couldn't understand what she was saying. All he could hear was some rumbling and rustling voice that just didn't make any sense. Mom pointed towards the table, but now all Eric could see was a big pile of grit and mucus like the one that forms in the corner of the eyes. Suddenly, Eric realized what was going on. He had refused to clean his eyes and ears, and now they were taking revenge. Quickly, he went to the bathroom. Grit, mucus, and earwax followed him, and within seconds, they started eating him. Eric started yelling and woke up. It was a nightmare. However, from then on, he started keeping his ears and eyes clean. Every morning, he would bath properly with soap and water. To keep his eyes clean, he would clean with a moist towel any grit or mucus in them. Eric not only started washing his eyes with water twice a day, but also started taking good care of his ears. He regularly cleaned earwax with a bud. And not just earwax, he daily cleaned both the outside and the back of the ear with a moist cloth. Indeed, his eyes and ears never complained since that day.